Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And it's Monday, it's December 7th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And in the end, I believe this was a spike in a two-tiered channel here. Originally, I had this line up here, um, but I just can't make it work out. So the odd thing is this is the very same line as here. As you can see, if I drag it down, it's the same line all the way down. But it never really came back in play till after 2 o'clock, which didn't matter then. So um, I believe what it is just a spike and the two tiers are down here. And of course, it generally takes the same angle trend line all the way across if you find another angle somewhere. And so it fits up there, but uh, I don't think you didn't need it. It didn't really come into play all day long. This is the one that came into play, this trend line right here. And as long as you had that, you had what you needed. Um, so yeah. Um, That's what I looked at today, and then of course we just went sideways into a trading range right here, really from about 10:30 to 10:30, 11 o'clock range all the way across the rest of the day until after 2 o'clock before it broke out of there, so it didn't matter. So that's what I saw today. Um, let's talk about the trades. There's actually um, a trade right here as well, and it looks like I forgot to circle. But let me back out. We'll talk about the trades. And first trade I saw was right around the 7 o'clock hour. A great setup here. Um, you got a second entry long right there. It's possible, I guess, if you, depending on what time you were here, you could have gone long, but that's really 6 o'clock hour, so that had already triggered for where I got in. And this other one's just, right before the 7 o'clock. It's right into the 7 o'clock hour. So by the time this one closes, you got time to put your stop there. But if you got long there, if you were trading too early and got long there, then you just got to exit because this is a great short right here when you get that failed second entry long. So let me back out a little more, make it a little bigger for us here. So you can see that pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It fails, you get a nice bearish bar. Just go short there. Turns out if you catch that one trade, you got to run it. It goes all day, or at least until you got down in this, and you can exit and look for another entry. But um, this, if you just caught that one trade early on, that's a great trade. But notice that this is really like a triple top, double top here. Um, but that's a failed second entry long. But since this is like a double top, or you could count this as a new high, and then you get a uh, first entry long, pull back. There's a second, so there's a failed second entry long there, but that's right into that double bottom. So I don't think you could take it. But look what happens: it breaks lower and turns back up, and then traps people and gives you a big bearish bar. I went back and forth about this one is really close to being green because you got to go short right at the low of the day, but it's a breakout pullback short, and the market's pretty weak here. So it's just right at, it probably should be green, but, um, I like the setup. It's a little risky because you're going short right into that support, but it's like a breakout pullback short, and it's another failed break higher there, so you're going to have some trap people. Um, so I felt like it was worth taking because it was a trap, and it works out pretty quickly, and then it bounces, and we're just kind of going sideways here. But notice that you got this, all these matching highs, and it breaks higher, and you get this bearish bar. It's a second entry short. Notice the new low. There's really a second entry short here, right here, but I don't think you want to go short right there. You've got a little bit of a trend line working back, and this is the first break. So you got to retest here, and then it fails and turns down. So I like taking it, and really this is like one leg, and then attempt at another leg right there. And it's a quick, easy scalp. Then you get a failed second entry long, and you've got this trend line. This really confirms this. That's another reason I like this one. It confirms that trend line, and this just further confirms it. And then you get another breakout pullback short here. And it's a second entry short as well. Notice there's a new low, there's a little pullback, there's a first entry, a pullback, a secondary. It's a big bearish bar. Again, it's real close to the low though, but if you put this, if you got your trend line here and you try to make it fit, it looked like it was a midline at that point. And you can see that it's like pulls through, pulls back. Um, so I kind of liked it because it looked like it was probably going to be heading down to measure. But it turns out the midline's a little further down. You can't really figure that out till later on. But so I like this one. Again, it's borderline. It could be real close to being green, but it's such a bearish bar. And this is going to be your first leg down. And then you're going to look for a measured leg from there. And you see that takes you right down to that low. And then that's when we tried to start correcting right in there in that area. So there's a good chance we're headed down to here. And so I like that one again. But I'll be honest, you got to be really careful getting short into or long into the high of the day and short into the low of the day, because those can backfire on you. So I mean, this one, it's just so close to being green. I'm just going to make it green. How's that? And this one probably should be too, especially if you caught this one and you've already run it this far. You shouldn't be trying to risk getting in right here. But if you weren't in yet, you'd probably want to try that one. These two were okay. This one's real borderline. Then we're working higher. There's a second entry short here, and I guarantee you some people got trapped on that. But look at draw your trend line, and there's no break of it yet. Look how it's holding everything right up that line. You get a break here, and then you get an attempt at a retest, and it fails and turns down. So, and you got a nice bearish bar. And again, it's close to the support. There may be enough room on that one. It's so close. I like it. And then you get the breakout pullback short. Again, you got to go short at the very low of the day, but you know your midlines or your measured moves way down here, and you're looking for prices to come down here. Plus, you've got another measurement you can work on now. You got that leg, and you're starting a new leg here, and it puts you down there in that same area. So I like that one. And that's a failed second entry long, and that's the reason I like it. But it's a breakout pullback short. Prices are holding at this midline. There's a couple different reasons why. Again, you got to go short at the low of the day, though. So the only time you really want to risk that is when it's a real strong sell-off or a real strong, rally uptrend. And this is definitely a pretty strong sell-off. Everything is downhill. Look at everything's below the EMA. The EMA is pointing down, and we're just going lower and lower and lower. And your measured moves are all down here. So you've got your reasons to like it. And then, of course, then you got you start kind of going sideways here. You get this turn down right off the trend line. It's a first entry though, so but it's right off the trend line. But when it breaks lower and turns back and tries it again, then I liked it. It's a little bit risky here. It's not a great signal bar. It doesn't break higher. It doesn't get a trap here, but it's two attempts to go higher and test that trend line. It's real close to the low, so it's definitely green. But there's some reasons to enter there. And it shoots on down, and then we just kind of start. This is almost more sideways than it is up, but notice you got a channel. You overshot it first, then you get to break, move to a new high, it turns down. I don't think you want to risk a short there. You might could, there's an aggressive entry there, but I don't think I'm going to go ahead and mark it green because it is a pullback to the midline, and we aren't to the low measured. This is an equal distance here, and we weren't to the bottom yet. We were close, and so that meant, but you might could slide that midline around in there and make it look a little different. So, that's not 100% telling. If this hadn't been for that, I'd say maybe it's red, but I'm going to give that one green. And then we try to go higher once, and then again it turns down. You can see that there. So it's like a double test, try to go higher, and then it goes lower. So I like going short there. And then you get a failed second entry long here. Again, you got to go short at the low of the day, but you know where we're probably headed. We're headed down here until we touch this line. There's enough room, even if it drops straight down, but you figure it's going to kind of stair step down. But even if it drops straight down, you got enough room to get out. And so, and again, it looks a lot like a repeat pattern of this up here. And so I think it's probably worthwhile risking. It could be green. You know, both of these could be green, really. They're real close. They're real borderline. I definitely don't think you want to go long anywhere up through here. There is a failed second entry short here. I marked it green just because it pushes through the EMA. It's kind of a reversal pattern. Look how we went through the push through the EMA and then push through the midline, pull back and test the trend, the midline and the EMA at the same time, and then turned up. And you know we're probably headed up here. So if you want to be real aggressive, you might think about going long. It's definitely going to be aggressive green trade. But you got your break of this trend line, move to a new high. We touched the trend line up here. It holds. I like that one to go short. And then it pulls back, it tests it again, and it pulls back and tests it again, and you got this big bearish bar. But what I really like is it tries to go higher again and then turns down. So when it breaks lower, I like that for a short. And that's your key entry point right there. You got a big bearish bar, an attempt to go higher that fails. I don't think you want to enter any more down here now at this point. Not going right into that midline. And then from here on, we just really kind of go sideways. Notice what happens. You got some resistance right here. Probably would have had this line down in here like so. And you can see it kind of working both sides right here. And we come back to it. Later on, I ended up moving this line higher, but at that point, you probably would have had it right about there. And you turn down. I don't think you want to go short on that first entry, but when you get that second entry that turns right off that same resistance area, and you got that little bearish bar, and then it tries to, this is one of these where I like adding on. Notice what happens. It tries to go higher again. If you got that on your chart and it fails and turns down, if you didn't enter here, definitely enter here, because now you got a failed second entry long. And if you were already in, this is one where I like to add on to it. And you figure you're probably coming down here. You may run all the way down at this point. It's looking, there's some strong resistance here, and notice you get a break of the trend line there too, the main trend line. But you don't really have a whole lot of clues that you're getting support here until right here. So it comes down. You would have had this line's like right there. I actually had it there, but when it bounced there, you move up. But look what happens here. You get all those matching lows. You actually make a new swing low here because this one's lower than that one right there. It's a first entry, it's a second entry, but the main thing is it's all those matching lows, and it goes one tick lower, then runs up and closes right on its high. When we should have been going lower here. But you definitely don't want to be getting short into that. So hopefully you understand why with all that stacked across there. So I guarantee you they've trapped the shorts. And for that reason, I like that one for a quick scalp to go long. I don't think I'd try any runners or anything there. I'd just hang on. This pushes up. Move that back up now, because now you got a double top across there. Nothing you can do as far as going short right there yet. Then it turns up and turns back down. You get that huge bearish bar. Just go short right there. You're probably coming back down to here. And you actually get a failed second entry long right there. You can count that. This is actually a failed second entry long here, because you can count this both ways as a new high, or you can count this as the high, or since it's double top, you can count it as the new high here. So you could actually enter again right there. And that gets you into the 2 o'clock hour. I wouldn't take anything after that. So when it bounced, notice you get a break here and it bounces. I probably wouldn't have taken that long, but if it wasn't into the 2 o'clock hour, that's the one you'd want to take to ride it back to the other side. So I'll mark that one. but it's after 2 o'clock, so I probably wouldn't have taken it, but it's right there close. But you got to figure we're headed back to here, and it just keeps going higher actually. So, so again, we had a spike down that went to a channel. We got a break right in here, and we tried multiple times to make a new low, and there's too strong a support right here, and we bounced. And you know, once you start to notice that you're getting this support in here, I wouldn't risk any more of those shorts like this at the low. It's really risky going short right into the low of the day without room to scalp out. Like here, 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 here. This one's real close. And these two, you got to be careful with those, because what usually happens is this kind of stuff right here. But this thing's really weak, and you're looking for your measured move, and we've got the measured move now. And look, notice we didn't go any lower than that. So, so it's you got to be careful with those. And like I said, I could probably circle a couple of these green, but there's enough reasons that you might want to risk it on a really strong sell-off like that. So, and that's pretty straight down. And notice how everything's below the EMA, all the way down. And then notice when we got above here, now we're swinging both sides. Now you can start trading both ways, because this is a trading range. So I hope that's clear. People get that confused, especially newer people. And but you got to learn to spot that. And with time you will. And that's the main thing with all of this stuff. As you get more experience, you will get better at it. People will send me their chart and they'll say, "What did I miss here?" And it's just experience. And I know that, the longer you look at these charts and the more you see what we're doing here and the more you see this in real time, the more you'll get to notice it and the easier it'll get. And you'll continue to get better. I still get better today. I say that a lot, but it's the truth. I still get better today. I didn't think you could, I figured you got to figure there's probably a learning curve somewhere, or, that you're going to stop learning anymore, but you don't. You just continue to get better at this. And the more experience you get, the more screen time, and the more you understand what's going on, and you'll just get better and better at it. And so just keep plugging ahead. If you miss something, study it until you try to figure it out. If you can't, send me a question and I'll show you what I see. And we can go from there. So, but anyway, not much else we can say about today. A nice downtrend. At least until I would have still been thinking down until we bounced right in here and started going sideways. It really started right in about here, but it was time for a rally there, and we're still coming down fairly, rather hard right there. So I wouldn't say we really went sideways until we started going here, and I wouldn't have counted on it until we bounced twice here, because this trend line is still in play, and we did get the break, and we just couldn't make a new low though. So that's about it for today. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.